Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun, as always, is my brother in podcasting, Reed.
Hey.
This episode, we bring up the biggest questions we've had all 2 seasons.
There are no questions, only answers.
No, you need to think harder.
There's no in between. This is an episode.
There's 50 Shades of Grey.
Is this an episode?
Are we podcasting? Let's get into it.
Ghostfacers! We're facing ghosts, we're others, we're not, we're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghostfacers! We're facing nightmare, we're facing dread! Ghostfacers! We're facing faceless, we're facing dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. But before we do anything else, we've got a review.
It's so abrupt. I was waiting for so much more than that.
Well, because I was like...
Were you about to do, like, the cold open intro?
Well, no. I was going to do Today We're Discussing, but I was like, do I do the review before we do the...
Oh, I see.
Today We're Discussing...
Yeah, all your kind words are throwing off our format.
Season 2, Episode 3, Bloodlust.
That's right.
But before we get into that, we have a review. I know.
Train's off the rails,
I started
baby.
high, and then I was like, uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no, I didn't think about how this goes into this. I made the notes, but didn't give myself any context.
I love that so much.
Oh, God. I should write pitch into here.
Your show notes are going to start looking like a musical score. Like, it's going to tell you, like, when to inflect and, like...
Oh, my God. I didn't even think of that as a possible thing. Yeah, I would definitely do
All right, Reed, you've got 4 bars to do your thing.
I do sometimes when I make notes for, like, meetings and stuff or, like, pitches, I will, like, bold things when I want to, like, emphasize them.
Yeah, that's fine. That's reasonable.
Yeah, or I'll do ... so that I know to give
we're talking
myself
about
space.
something more rudimentary than that. We're just literally talking about the order in which you were going to say things. Yeah.
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 We got a review from Jane Cray, I think. It's Krahe.
Oh, sure. Krahe? Cray?
Let's do all 3, and then one of them will be right.
Krahe.
Thanks, Jane K.
Listen.
We're bad people.
We're bad.
Yeah. It's objectively not a good podcast.
We're bad boys.
Oh, yeah. Just a couple of bad boys.
Yeah, going cross country.
Let's get into it.
Oh. Just put the theme in again. And we're back.
Yeah, look at that. And we've got a review. Oh, no, it's just a cycle. From Apple Podcasts from the US of A.
Okay.
I realized this is literally for no one.
Okay.
But I was listening to an episode of This Is Not a Show, Keith Carey and Tom Goss's podcast.
Right.
And they had an entire conversation about what do people call America outside of America? Do they call it America or do they call it the US?
Oh, right.
Because there's technically multiple Americas.
Well, I mean, yes, true. Although no other country has put it in their name.
Well, that's the Well, yeah.
There's no
there's continents.
Yeah, but there's no like Guatemalan Union of America or anything like that. Like, I think the word American has been co-opted by the U.S.
Much like a lot of things that the U.S. has done. 5-star review.
Good.
With the subject, fun and charming Ghostfacers.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think we're either of those
Let's
things.
just leave it there.
Yeah.
I feel like it could only go down from here.
Let's find out. They go on to say, this is a great rewatch podcast and exactly the kind I was looking for. I love the dives into lore. And I like that they acknowledge some of the more, let's say, dated aspects of the show instead of glossing over them.
Yeah.
While also still enjoying the show. Yes, we know it's trash. Well, we still like it anyways. Also, they have an absolute correct response to Jensen Ackles. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
It's the only response I have to Jensen Ackles.
I'm having a hard time talking because there's so much saliva in my mouth.
I wish I had something else in my mouth.
Or maybe that's not saliva.
Oh. You should know.
You don't have salty saliva?
Jesus Christ. We're recording this so early.
It's way too early to be this thirsty.
Yeah. That's just how I wake up.
Yeah. I've had a lot of coffee.
I woke up, said bye to my wife, and came here to just be thirsty in a chair.
Said goodbye forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm not going back.
No, I'm going to go find Jensen.
Yeah.
We're meant to be together. I got my wife in the trunk.
Great. And now there's like an audio trail of this could be played at my trial now.
Let's keep talking about Bloodlust. It aired October 5th, 2006.
Nice.
Written by Sarah Gamble.
Okay.
Directed by Robert Singer.
Wow. Some all-stars.
Great team.
Yep.
Viewed by an estimated 3.78 million viewers.
That's solid. That's good.
Good numbers. But we know what we're here for.
Oh, yeah.
International titles, baby.
This feels like a title that could be good internationally.
Everybody's got blood.
Everyone's got lust. Put your hands together.
You put those together and you get magic, baby.
Lust blood. Oh, damn it.
No,
damn
you
it.
Almost had it. Blust. Nope. Lud?
Is that what the
No.
Winnie the Pooh blustery day is about?
Oh. I've got a hankering for some blood.
Oh, come on over, Piglet. Put this apple in your mouth.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Piglet, I've got my hand stuck in the blood bag.
Oh, no. Okay, let's...
International titles. So, who's getting it right this week?
Okay.
The Finns. We got Finnish,
Right.
Polish, and Hungarian.
Okay.
All just Bloodlust.
Yeah, I mean... That's on their emotion wheel that you like learned in kindergarten in those countries, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy, sad, confused, bloodlust,
Cold.
cold. Yeah, you know that emotion. Oh,
I mean,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
temperature.
I mean, yeah, they're from cold places, but
Temperament,
also,
yeah.
mhm. Brazil.
Okay.
Thirst for blood.
Ooh, yeah. I like that. Way to go, Brazil.
Good punch up, Brazil.
Yeah, that is. Thirst for blood is good. I like that.
The Germans.
Okay.
Oh no.
Is it called blood diet?
No. What?
It's because that's what you eat. Blood diet.
No, this is actually the other side of Germany that we don't like.
Oh no.
It's blood frenzy.
Whoa. Easy, Germany.
And it's one
The
word.
last thing we need from Germany is another frenzy.
Right, this is what it is. They do not put the friend in frenzy.
I mean, frankly, any word ending in Z coming from Germany is worrying.
Beginning or ending.
Yeah.
It's the Germans you need to be concerned about.
Okay, blood frenzy.
Yeah.
Concerning.
Italian.
Okay.
Vampires.
Yeah, that could have also been a good French title, I think. Yeah, vampires, sure, great. It's just called Vampires.
Why you have to be so subtle? Who's the monster? Are they blood monsters?
That's the thing we haven't encountered is just a country where it's just like you just gotta give it all to us. Be like, last episode was called Rakshasa. 3 episodes ago was called They Found the Colt.
Yeah. The first episode was 2 brothers go on an adventure.
Yeah, dad's gone missing. Yeah.
And he hasn't been back in a while.
Yeah.
And the final one.
Okay. Is this France?
It's the French one.
Oh, is it like taste for blood or something like that?
It's not that, but you're on the absolute right track.
Okay. All right.
This doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Beyond the guys.
Beyond the guys?
Yeah, like G-U-I.
Like G-U-I. Yeah, not beyond the guys.
Yeah, no, beyond the guys.
We'll never get beyond the guys.
No, I can't. I'll get behind the guys. Who am I kidding? They're going to get behind me.
I'll be on the guys.
Yeah.
No, not beyond.
Beyond the guys.
Wow, that's weirdly like obfuscating what the episode is for France.
Yeah.
Normally, they like to do what the Italians did this
yeah.
episode and just get to the point.
Yeah.
Interesting. Odd. Not what I would have thought for this episode.
It's I was pretty surprised. All right. TV Guide describes this episode as Sam and Dean meet another hunter named Gordon. But Ellen warns the brothers that his zeal is dangerous. Easy TV Guide. Later, Sam makes a surprising discovery about a group of vampires. Oh my God. What could it be? But before we do that, we got some featured music for this episode, and we got some bangers.
All right, let's have it.
Back in Black by AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
Oh baby. I was like, man, they really like burned through like a lot of the like no wonder it's only like the first 2 seasons that have like all of the best music. Because they use a lot less like classic rock
again,
as
there's
they go
no
through.
reason to hold back.
No.
It's not like they were like, we're gonna need this for season 14.
Yeah. Well, especially because I'm pretty sure they were planning on only 5 seasons.
Well, yes, exactly. But even at that, it's still like, will we get there? Like,
the next song, Wheel in the Sky by Journey.
wow,
Yeah.
big one.
Then Time and Time Again by Long John Hunter.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
No. Long John Hunter. I thought he died in the previous in the 2 episodes ago.
No, we just called him Long John Hunter.
Golden Rule by Lil Ed. You were using Lil Ed in classic rock? Lil Ed and the Blues Imperials.
Okay.
What a confusing band name.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there.
And then finally, Funny Car Graveyard by Lee Rocker. That feels like you're just grabbing names out of a hat.
It's like someone taught an AI how to make a band name. Yeah.
No, that was the song name.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Because it's from.
Lee Rocker.
Okay. All right, Lee. Sure.
I want to get into rock music, but how do I tell people that I'm into, rock music?
Well, that makes me think of a guy in town that I thoroughly dislike.
That's very true.
Who basically his name is also that.
Yes. I was born this way.
Yeah. My name is Ned Music. Fuck.
I'm from a long line of musics, okay? All right. Before getting into our thoughts on today's episode, let's open up Dad's journal and learn some of the real world lore about today's monster.
Oh, yeah, baby. Today's monster, we're going to see what the lore says about vampires.
Holy shit, we're just doing the monster.
We're just doing the monster. I'm not playing coy.
Wow.
I'm not playing games with you, baby. We're doing.
Oh my God. This is the one and only episode about vampires then.
And we'll never talk about them again.
No, I'm surprised.
So listen up.
Get ready. Buckle up.
So, put the theme in again. And we're back. So a vampire is, we know what they are, but at its base level, a creature that lives off the vital essence of another being.
Hey, isn't that what you are with me?
Only in terms of recording and doing a podcast and riding those coattails. It usually means blood, but it doesn't have to. Technically, some other things that we've talked about are vampiric, if not specifically a vampire. Most cultures have a version of vampires in their folklore, though the term itself wasn't really used popularly until the 17th or 18th century. So... Okay. Drinking of blood or consuming of flesh was often used in folklore as a very specific indication of being evil or unnatural or something like that.
Fair.
So, Vitalas in India, which is a monster we'll get to later in the show.
Whoa!
But a Vitala,
spoilers.
A Vitala is kind of like that. There's a monster called a Lilitu in Babylonian and Assyrian folklore, and that could be
Is that when they replaced that girl on Modern Family? They had Lily 1 and then they...
So Lilitu might be where the Hebrew name Lilith comes from, which is also a thing we'll get to later in the show. Okay. The Striga in Albania.
We know about Striga.
Or the Strigoi in Romania are versions of...
That's a non-Jewish Striga.
Strigoi. Those are vampiric, right? We talked about the Striga drains the life force from you, right? To keep itself alive.
I suck something out of somebody. Does that make me vampirish?
I mean, we should talk about this off mic, man. You got to stop bringing.
Or are these recording?
You got to stop bringing that up so much. There's a thing called a vrikolakas in Greek folklore.
Okay.
That's kind of like zombie-like, but it consumes like liver flesh specifically.
It's just a very old monster.
Well, I guess it needs the vitamin D, so it only eats livers
With onions, yeah.
Yeah, a chupacabra is vampiric, right? Like they are also called like goat suckers, right? Which again,
I was called that in grade school.
I mean, again, we should talk about this off mic.
It's normal.
So
That's where their milk comes from.
modern vampiric myths began kind of in the Middle Ages. Like King James, like the guy that revised the Bible or whatever.
Yeah.
He was writing about incubi and succubi in like the late 1500s. And like those are versions of vampires. And vampire stories gained popularity in the 17th and 18th century when they became widely reported in Eastern Europe.
Wow.
Our conception of the vampire is often tied to Eastern Europe, which is not accidental, and it's mostly in part because of the Transylvanian setting of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes,
of course.
But isn't there a connection to Vlad the Impaler?
So Dracula itself has a connection to like Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that. I am saving that for a future episode. I've got a few vampire tangents that I'm saving for other things.
You coy little bitch.
Oh, I plan ahead.
Oh my god. Yeah, tease me.
So the the trend of like reporting these like vampire sightings was also matched with a rash of grave diggings and stakings.
Oh my god.
Because they were trying to fight back the rising tides of revenant beings. So this included recorded cases of vampirism that involved the Habsburg monarchy, and also there are recorded outbreaks of vampirism in 16th century Prussia and in Serbia.
Wow.
Like to the point where like it was so widely considered to have been happening that they were just like, well, yeah, write it down.
Yeah. Enough people are saying it.
Mark it.
Yeah. 10,000 people can't be wrong. I mean,
so what some of the things about vampires. So, like with Striga, many early vampire legends played off the idea that the monster would feed on a person slowly, like eventually killing them by weakening them over time.
Isn't that called marriage? Oh, I'll be here all week.
She's right behind you.
Oh my god.
Lots of early texts describe using like prayer and holy water to repel or ward against vampires. And part of that too was like in response to all of the people digging up graves and putting stakes through bodies, as they were like, that's desecration. You can't do that. That's a sin. Here's how you would fight a vampire.
But I don't understand. He might come back.
They kind of had to like give them like, here's a different way to fight a vampire that doesn't involve desecrating the body.
Oh, this seasoning that I have all around my house, that will protect me?
So, garlic.
Yeah.
So the garlic thing. Garlic might be one of the theories about where that comes into vampire folklore is that there may have also been an outbreak of rabies.
Oh.
Coinciding with the outbreak of vampirism. And apparently...
That must have been a vampire dog.
Apparently rabid people do have a sensitivity to something chemical in garlic. I don't know what the chemical is, but like there is a sensitivity. So if you're equating like the behavior of rabies with the behavior of vampirism, then the garlic thing might tie in. That might be where it comes into vampire folklore. Because for the most part, it's like a religious kind of thing. They were like, vampires are evil, demonic, so use prayers, use holy water, that sort of thing. Voltaire, French philosopher Voltaire, wrote about how vampires suck blood from the living either at their throats or stomachs before returning to their cemeteries and presumably their own graves to rest. So that's where we get the idea of like the Dracula like sleeping in his coffin.
Yeah.
And the idea of like the biting the neck kind of thing comes from fucking Voltaire somehow.
Is that like with like a modern novelist who like writes a BuzzFeed article? Is that the idea? Yeah. Sometimes you just got to get the money in.
Yeah, Voltaire wrote this book called 10 Things You Should Know About Vampires.
And you won't believe number 6.
Yeah. Oh, God. So yeah, the notion of nests, vampiric turning, hypnotism, and other powers sort of developed over time.
Is this something like telekinesis? Or?
It's it's just as scary.
J'accuse!
Let's say it's beyond the guise.
Meld!
But yeah, cases of vampires and vampiric outbreaks have even been reported in Africa and Eastern Europe as recently as the mid-2000s. I think in like Malaysia or something like that in 2004, they were like, oh yeah, we've got a bad case of vampires.
Dracula 2000.
Yeah, and Dracula Dead and Loving It.
The most accurate depiction.
I mean, it's not bad.
Prove me wrong.
But yeah, I'm saving some stuff like about how vampires turn other people and stuff like that for other episodes, but that's vampires, baby.
Oh, wow. I thought it was just a large pole and someone on top of it just like wasting time.
Didn't we do this joke already where I said
a vampire?
Yeah, but I said it was someone like at like first base who's just
vampire,
like, hey, where you from?
Yeah.
Just doing crowd work or whatever. That's the vampire.
Look,
wait for the guy to round the bases.
There's a lot of ways to skin this cat, okay? We've only just begun.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, well, with that, why don't we get into today's episode?
Let's do it.
Oh my god, I am very much looking forward.
I've been really looking forward to this episode. Oh, good. An ad for Gerard Butler. It's that Greenland movie.
I tried to watch with my wife on Valentine's Day, P.S. I Love You. And
what did I just listened to? Oh, We Hate Movies just did an episode on P.S. I Love You. I forgot how deranged that movie is.
Well, we tried to watch it in I'd say 20 minutes, and she was like, we need to turn this off. Why would you want to watch this on Valentine's Day?
Right. Yeah, that's
it's just
fair.
like, now I'm just thinking about your and my mortality things.
Yeah, sure.
Wasn't maybe not the romantic gesture I was hoping it would be.
No, it's not. So this then now...
Now we're going.
We got to see like the saving people hunting things. We got to see a Wendigo. We got to see like the Striga and stuff.
Yeah.
And we saw a little clip of a vampire. We're obviously getting lots of clips of Jeffrey Dean Morgan and setting up what we've
Long
been
John
through.
Hunter.
Long John Hunter and what we've been through this season so far. And
that perfect coffee drop. I mean, I think
that must be an accident.
No,
the coffee cup dropped.
We talked about
landed.
it. We talked about it. That was the one they did that the first take, and they couldn't believe it happened.
Right. Sorry. Sometimes you say things I just kind of do.
Sorry. What was that?
What? The whole episode is us not hearing each other.
I do like that they put that in there just because I think that they were proud of that shot.
Yeah, they were like, put the coffee cup shot back in.
Yeah.
All right, so we cut to Montana and
we're in the woods.
And the woods. We're in now.
Exactly.
And
girls running through the woods.
Yeah, which is obviously bad. Something like you never
terribly running though.
No, you never run and scream and fall down.
And also
for exercise. Like she's definitely being chased.
And now she's limping because she tripped. That's not a good.
She's
sign,
definitely
right?
doing like the horror,
looking back and running.
Run. Yeah, there's someone chasing her that like is maybe dressed as like
a werewolf. I don't know.
He's got like some sort of long robe or coat or something.
I wasn't sure if it's just pants had ripped at the bottom.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what that was.
It's Liv Schreiber as Sabretooth from the Wolverine Origins movie. She's hiding behind a tree, which never works.
That's the safest place you can be. But
okay, sickle comes out, head comes off, blood splatter on the tree. A lot of classic kind of things here.
Classic blood splatter. We love that.
Yeah, and that's it.
Wow.
And then supernatural title card. Yeah, really, really cool.
I mean, I am all about it. And now we are on the road with the boys. It's a hot day.
Yeah. Yeah, we get that infrared wave there.
I love that. Dean and Sam. Dan and Sam.
Yeah. Dan and Sean.
Dan and Sam are driving down the road.
Oh, damn it. We got the weird Bulgarian.
Yeah. Dan and Sam. I don't know why that's a Bulgarian accent.
It's so
Dean's
not.
Dean's Dean's in a great mood. He's whooping. He's talking
Because they're actually in the Impala.
Yeah.
The last time we saw the Impala, Dean was beating the shit out of it, and it wasn't fixed.
But I don't know if you've noticed, this is the first episode where Sam began parting his hair down the middle, the hairstyle he'd keep for the rest of the series.
Yeah, it's a good.
It's still a bit hockey flippy at the bottom.
It
But
is. This is reminiscent of hair I had at this time.
This is the hair I had basically 2 days ago until I finally cut it.
Yeah, I mean, pictures of me from literally October 5th, 2006 kind of look like Sam.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like a striped button up,
Yeah.
rolled up sleeves,
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
the center part, kind of hockey flip hair.
Yeah, with some bootcut jeans.
Yeah, bootcut jeans. Just being generally fuckable.
Yeah. If he was wearing some like skinny European shoes, it'd be definitely you.
We cut to this police chief who looks like Wilford Brimley.
Oh, yeah.
And the guys are in suits and they're actually like doing the posing as law enforcement better than we saw all first season, basically.
They're in Red Lodge, Montana. The sheriff's badge says North Montana. Red Lodge is actually in the southeastern part of the state.
Oh, shit.
So I don't believe anything I see from now on.
So the boys are on the hunt of the demon, right? From last episode, we know that they've got this algorithm and that insane computer is like looking for the pattern, right? The cattle deaths and stuff like that. So they're talking to the sheriff, and Dean point blank asks about cattle deaths and stuff like that. And this sheriff like kind of doesn't know what to do with
he
it.
thinks it's a joke.
Because Dean is like, we're after like a satanic cult.
Yeah.
As opposed to say we're after Satan or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're after Satan's group of people that follow him.
Yeah.
But Dean quickly jumps in with one more question. He asked about the cattle that were split open, drained, and apparently there were over a dozen cases. And so Sam wants to know if there's like a connection between that maybe. But the sheriff laughs at them and he tells them that the cattle aren't being mutilated. He says that if a cow drops dead and it stays in the sun for 48 hours, it splits it open itself.
Yeah, he's
God,
talking about
that.
like bloat and stuff like that. And
It's
I
awful.
mean,
And it looks so clean.
it's a
it could
thing
be
I
surgical.
don't. It's a thing I don't care to fact check.
It's a thing I didn't care to know.
Yeah. And then we cut. God, the guys are cosplaying so much of this.
I know.
episode. Now they're doctors.
God,
they look great.
And there's like they're in like the morgue's office at this hospital, and the guy who's working there is Jay Manners, which is clearly a connection to the writer Kim Manners.
Yeah. I like how Dean comes in. He says, Dr. Dworkin needs you. And the guy's like, Dr. Dworkin's on vacation. He's like, well, he's back and he's pissed and he's screaming for you. And the guy's like, oh, shit.
I love that. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
I love when the guys have to like lie out of their lie. That's really funny to me. So they pull out, they go into the morgue. They pull out a drawer. Yeah, they're kind of doing like, you do it. Because there's also like a rubber
made bin.
tub,
Yeah.
and it's got the head. So this is the body that we saw drop in the opening.
They were saying we should look at her mouth
To see if they stuffed anything in her throat.
which seems a little.
Dean says like Silence of the Lambs. It's also like
it puts the lotions in the back.
He just keeps making Silence of the Lambs reference. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things is when like on a TV show someone makes a cultural reference and the other person doesn't get it and they just stay with it.
Yeah.
That's been happening a lot in Lost, which I love.
I also kind of dig that on The Flash.
Yeah.
Cisco's good for that.
Yeah,
on The
definitely.
Flash. So then they're looking at her and then Dean says lift up her like lip again, and they lift it up and they notice
there's a weird
spot
spot in the
for
gums.
they find a hole and they find vampire fangs.
Yes.
So this person that we saw drop was a vamp.
This is a very different sort of idea of a vampire instead of like the ones that are built into their canines or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we saw this a little bit in whatever that episode was at the end of last season.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have like a whole host of fangs that kind of grow over the
Yes.
human teeth. It's a cool design because it's way scary. It's less sexy than just like two little fangs.
Yes.
It's more of like a, oh no, they're fucking
they're
eat your
animals.
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, easy. Oh, geez. Pump it with the rhetoric there.
They're animals.
You sound like Kirk at the start of Star Trek 6.
We need to wipe them out.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is going to change things. And Dean's like, yeah, you think.
Yeah,
Like,
so then they go to a...
oh, and who do we got at the bar?
Oh my God.
Did you not know?
No!
This is the first scene with Benny.
Holy what?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
deliberate?
Yeah. That's Benny. That's our first sight of Benny.
I had no idea.
You are genuinely... Did you not watch this already?
I seldom watch them before we
Oh,
rewatch
I always
them.
watch them before because I have to write the notes. But
Holy
yeah,
shit.
that's Ty Olson, the bartender, Eli, who reappears
And he-
in season 8 as Benny.
But is this deliberate?
Yeah, well, I mean, they bring him back knowing that he was that guy. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I gotta get myself together here.
So the guys order some beers, and and Sam tells the bartender that they're looking for someone. They hand him some money.
We saw this like little shot of Sterling K. Brown kind of side-eyeing them.
Yeah.
And then when we cut back, his table's empty.
So the guys are outside. They're walking out and behind the bar. We see Gordon,
Oh,
Sterling K. Brown.
love him as an actor.
He's sort of like sneaking around them.
The guys walk down an alley. Of course, they're going to get followed. It's not going to be great. Gordon comes down the alley around them. I still love that we're in 2006, so jackets should be big.
Yes.
Like no tailoring
No.
at all.
No. He goes around to see where the guys are, and they're not there anymore. He's followed them down this back alley, but now suddenly they disappeared.
Yeah.
So who's being followed now?
Ooh, the hunters are hunted.
That's right.
Hunter punting.
I love the camera coming up, the Evil Dead camera move.
It does that, but then he turns around and no one's there. And then he turns around again.
Yeah,
and
as
Sam and Dean, there's like fake out.
Yeah, they fake out the audience, and
Yeah.
it's very funny.
Yeah, and then Gordon says, "I'm not a vampire." He's like, "That's right. I heard you guys."
What do you know about vampires? He's like, how to kill them. Now, seriously, bro, the knife's making me itch.
He's got I really like Gordon's character. He calls him Chachi. You can see Dean's kind of like, huh.
Yeah.
He's got comments. They're checking to make sure he doesn't have fangs and shit. Gordon says, "I know how to kill vamps." All this kind of stuff. I mean, they do too, because John told them.
but they've only come upon them one other time.
They've only fought them once so far in the show. Yeah,
Exactly. So they're basically
so they say, we're Sam and Dean Winchester. They go to Gordon's car. He's got his own rig with stuff, and then he says,
we're coming upon a hunter.
Yeah, and he says, "I met your old man once. Hell of a guy, great hunter. I heard he passed. I'm sorry."
This
And
is the
it's,
first time we're finding out that the Winchesters are known.
Yeah. Well, and just again, more of this hunter community thing. We saw a bit with Harvell's Roadhouse last episode.
Exactly, yeah.
And then Gordon kind of knows more than they do, but he says, I hear about you guys. You guys sound like you're going to be great hunters, or you are great hunters, or whatever. And then
word's getting out.
And then
they're like, you know how hunters talk, and they're like, no, we don't.
Yeah. And then Gordon's like, "I got this one covered. Like, you guys don't have to help me with this nest. I've been on this thing for over a year. I am ready."
Yeah, I killed somebody back in Austin. I'll finish this. Don't worry. He clearly doesn't want them around.
Yeah.
He definitely goes it alone. He even says I'm a go it alone type.
And Dean's like, "I've been itching for a hunt."
I think
this is a mention of a chupacabra again.
Yeah. Do they actually ever go?
They don't. They mention chupacabra is a thing the show uses where they're like, "Oh yeah, a couple weeks ago I was hunting when they just need to talk about a different hunt."
It's interesting that they never actually go up against any.
They never do. Yeah. And then Gordon pulls away. Is he driving an El Camino?
I think so. Sterling K. Brown is also, so fun fact, Sterling K. Brown is one of 4 stars from the CBS drama Person of Interest to appear on Supernatural.
Okay.
He was preceded by Sarah Shahi in the Supernatural pilot.
Right.
Amy Acker in the Supernatural Dead in the Water.
Right.
And followed by soon to become actually not soon, it's in season 7, but followed by Leslie Odom Jr.
Oh yeah.
in season 7, Time for a Wedding.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
But weird that they all came for this one show. I mean, they must film in Vancouver or something.
And that's, it's TV too. If you're only doing 1 or 2 episodes of things, then you go between a bunch of shows.
Yeah, so we're at a mill late at night now. Beautiful cinematography. I really love the way that they use darkness here.
I mean, God, if you work in a sleepy Midwest town and your job is just to sit
Walk
in
around
a mill at night, you're going to die.
Yeah. Don't you know? How could you not know?
This poor guy. Like, stop. Don't do it, man.
Security guard just sort of like wandering around looking, God, beautiful light work
Yeah, he
here.
hears thumping and then water splashing. He pulls out a crowbar or like a baton or something.
we get the fake out with the bird.
Yeah. Yeah, and then turn around. Gordon's there, and they start fighting. Gordon's got a big knife. The security guard's a vamp.
I love that the vampires like got a day job or night job, I guess, but
Yeah. Oh, I remember this scene.
yeah, the teeth come out and suddenly
Louise, because it's like a wood mill or something.
Yeah, so they turn on the actual like
the saw
blade,
starts buzzing, and the guy beats Gordon up, and he's laying him down. And he's gonna like put the saw down on him. It's really like gruesome.
And as the blade comes down, suddenly somebody pulls Gordon out.
Yeah.
It's Sam.
It's Sam. Dean comes up, stabs the vamp with some sort of like pike thing, and they get him down on the thing. Sort of stab him so he can't move. Dean's just like punching this guy, and then they bring down the saw. They cut off his head.
And just like literally chop it off.
Good blood splatter.
So, but interesting about the blood splatter.
Kind of small one though. Was it supposed to be bigger?
Well, here's the thing. So when Dean kills the vampire, blood is sprayed in his face, mostly on his right cheek. In the next shot, the pattern is different. But more notably, the right cheek is almost clean. Furthermore, his mouth was agape when he made the kill, risking the blood getting into his mouth and turning him into a vampire.
Oh yeah, the pattern's way different now.
Yeah. While the brothers didn't know yet that how a vampire is made at that point, Gordon did. And should have been alarmed that Dean might have gotten some blood in his mouth.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
But Gordon says...
Gordon's so happy about that, yeah.
He's like, I got to buy you guys some drinks, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the thing I like about this season is building out, like, the world of hunters. Because now we cut back to the bar, and Gordon's like, great, here we go. Shots all around. Thanks, boys. Another one bites the dust. Look at us, we're killing vamps. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Gordon...
Something is... up with Sam, though. Dean is celebrating. Sam's just kind of sitting.
He's sort of put off by the whole situation.
Because they're kind of a little maybe too gleeful about it. Like, Gordon's saying, like, yeah, you gave that vamp a hell of a haircut. And they're like, yeah, we get it. Like, we killed a vamp, but, like, why do we have to...
like, revel in it?
Like, revel that we cut someone's head off.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And Gordon actually says, like, have another one, Sammy. And Sam replies that Dean is the only one who's allowed to call him that.
Yeah, and Sam says, like, decapitations aren't my idea of a good time. Gordon's like, it's not like it was human. You know, we're getting the sense that maybe Gordon enjoys his job too much.
But also,
I mean, the boys hunt monsters. They kill lots of things too. And Sam knows what needs to be done with a vampire. You got to cut the head off. We've seen Sam do it, but he's just not prepared to like enjoy himself.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like a thing he has to do.
Exactly. And
he doesn't like seeing Dean celebrating that, and he doesn't like the Gordon just really being in it.
But this is also the first time that we've brought up like the idea even of enjoying the job, right?
Yeah.
Because at this point, the whole thing has just been, this is a thing we have to do. We have to find our dad. Our job is to kill these things.
Not only are there other hunters out there, they have a different perspective on the profession.
Yeah.
Which
is just like, now it's like, oh yeah, I guess some people would do this because they have to. Some people may actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
we're cutting back to Dean and Gordon, and they're kind of sharing war stories and, you know, talking about other monster.
Well, Dean's bringing up sort of
stuff.
his first sort of time where he realized that this was something he was going to do for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That it's not just a thing he has to do, but it is.
Because the story
his
that he's talking
path.
about, he was 16 and he's like, yeah, other kids are worried about pimples and prom dates, and I'm like,
I've got a crossbow.
Yeah. It's like I killed something and set it on fire.
Yeah, and I think he's like basically that's the time. And Gordon's literally finishing his sentences because he's like, you embrace the life.
There's a kindred spirit thing there, right? You know.
Well, but also this sort of like unwielding, sort of unrelenting hunter thing that Gordon seems to have that we know that is in Dean. That's not all Dean is, but it's definitely a defining characteristic with him.
And this is where we get kind of who Gordon is. And he says, first time I saw a monster was a vampire. I was barely 18. It broke into my sister's room. I tried to fight it. It didn't do anything. It flung me across the room and knocks me out cold. And he wakes up and the vampire's gone and his sister's gone.
Yeah.
And then that's how we learn what's driving Gordon, right? So like, yeah, because he's saying he's tracked a nest, like he's a hunter, but we've only heard him talk about vamps. So it's like this guy has a vamp vendetta, basically.
A vampdetta.
Yeah. Which is where you need where you need revenge, but you also need it to you need to pat it out a little bit.
All right, we did that joke already, okay?
Yeah, and I'm patting it out a bit.
Vam podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good at this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is sort of Gordon and Dean are sort of realizing that maybe they're sort of the same.
Yeah.
And Gordon's going like, look, like what happened to your dad, like it's got to be really tough. And now Dean's actually sharing his pain with Gordon, which he hasn't even shared with Sam yet.
Yeah, because I think he doesn't want to get psychoanalyzed by Sam.
Yeah.
But with Gordon, he's like, okay, we're two guys in the life, committed to hunting.
Yeah, like,
and like you get it. Plus, I might never see you again.
Yeah.
This is maybe it's that weird way where sometimes strangers are a more safe way to share something than people you're close with.
Like when you ask somebody how they're doing and they're like, man, like, and I'm like, we're at the bank, all right, like easy. So put on your mask.
And you're the teller.
Yeah. What is going on? This isn't like a bar. Like, but yeah, Dean actually says, I'm not handling it very well. Like you can literally see the pain in his eyes. He's like, and Gordon's like, yeah, there's this hole inside of you and it just gets bigger and bigger and darker and darker. And Dean's like, yeah.
Yeah, but Gordon says, good, you can use it, keeps you hungry. And even Dean is kind of like, I'm not sure that's the answer I wanted. I sort of want this to be done.
Yeah.
And Gordon says it's not a crime to need your job. And you're like, okay, Gordon's also unhealthy.
Yeah. Maybe much more. But now we go to the Roadhouse, and Sam is calling Ellen.
Sorry, just what a smoke show.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Yeah. We need mommies.
Oh, come on. No, don't ruin it. So Sam is calling Ellen and being like, do you know Gordon? He's like, we ran into him on a job, and Ellen's like, don't work with him.
Yeah, no, she said first, she's like, he's a great hunter.
Yeah.
Do not work with him.
Yeah, and then he says, you said he was a good hunter, and she says, yeah, and Hannibal Lecter's a good psychiatrist.
Yeah.
But it just says, if he's working a job, let him handle it, move on. Like, he's bad news.
Yeah.
Ellen is concerned about the boys. Obviously, she's trying to look out for them a little bit.
God, the cinematography in this episode is
so
good.
Good composed shot. This is like the dirtbag version of Professor X and Magneto playing chess. Is these two hunters doing shots?
Yeah.
Look.
God, Robert
it's like
Singer.
they both technically have the same goal, but one of them's going about it the wrong way.
Yes.
And it's like it's basically the same kind of vibe, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm not only saying that because I recently rewatched X-Men.
Literally last night.
2 nights ago.
Oh, I apologize. That's in the past then.
Yeah. But it's
we're back at the
Gordon
motel.
That's in that scene where we see them again, and it's this really nice kind of parallel shot kind of thing. Gordon says it's black and white. There is no maybe.
Yeah.
Like there's we're seeing something different, and obviously even the episode is trying to play that with us, right? Like the first person that we saw, she was just running through the woods. We saw her head get cut off. We only learned later. We saw how scared she was and stuff. Like the episode versus what Gordon is telling us don't line up.
Exactly. So we're back at the motel, and something's clearly following Sam. He's outside trying to grab a drink from the vending machine, and even he feels like somebody's walking around. So he goes to go back in the motel, and then you can feel sort of like they keep doing the zoom
that
up.
camera zoom in like fake out thing. They really like. I mean, even though they're reusing it, it is effective. You're like, it's gonna happen. Even if you are anticipating the fake out, you're like, and the fake out is now.
But also, this is a thing that really came from Evil Dead.
Right. Yes.
So,
yeah.
So they're sort of giving their props to Raimi. But then Sam's back in the motel, and suddenly he gets jumped by a bunch of like what look like hunters, but not.
Yeah, they're all dressed in plaid with trucker hats.
Yeah. The other kind of hunter. But anyways, back to the motel. The Adobe Court Motel is the same location used in season 1, episode 17, Supernatural Hell House, and would later be used in place of the Plains Motel in season 12, episode 8, titled Supernatural Lotus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
So we're back now, And who's this? It's Benny. And what was that? He was a vampire the whole time?
But is he Benny?
I mean, I would think so.
Yeah, it's that.
Why would they make him a vampire twice?
Oh God, yeah, it's that. Oh, Jesus Christ!
He started out as a bad vampire.
That's true. Yeah, and they say, I'm not gonna hurt you, but we need to talk.
Yeah, you
Like
suddenly
this-
hear a voice of a woman. Also, somebody that you may know from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, she says, though, we're not like others. We don't kill humans. We don't drink their blood. We haven't for a long time. Sam's not willing to believe it, but they go like, "You're still alive," and he goes, "Okay, but shouldn't you be starving to death?" And they say cattle blood, and then the guys realize the thing that brought them to town wasn't demon related. It was them.
Yes, it was the cows.
They found like true blood vampires, the ones that just like, this is an affliction, we're gonna live with it, we're not gonna hurt people.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, the blood is disgusting, but we don't want to hurt people.
Yeah,
Which, makes sense.
and they say our kind is practically extinct. Yeah. Oh God.
Which makes sense with Benny.
They're calling Sam a killer and stuff like that.
They also call him a cuck. I don't know.
They do not. Oh no, they call him Eli. He's actually playing a different character.
Well, that's what the name he's going by.
Oh my God, I love this headcanon. I can't believe this is happening. This is so much fun.
Right?
Oh God, can we just get to the season with Benny now?
yeah.
Sorry.
We'll just fast forward 3 years.
Yeah, so Sam says, like, you're not hurting anyone. Give me one reason why I should believe you. Yeah, it's something's not lining up, right? The way that we've seen the person die at the beginning, what Gordon is saying, what they're doing, and they say, we're going to let you go.
Fine. Yeah, that's how we'll prove you that we're not bad.
Take it back, not a mark on him. I mean, for Sam, who already was like uncomfortable with reveling in the idea of killing, who at the time he thought was objectively a monster, is now like, oh my God, what are we doing?
So, a piece of that I forgot to mention was when he gets attacked at the motel. During the filming of that, Jared actually injured his hand when he fell during that stunt. He thought it was merely a sprain and went straight into filming the next episode without having checked it. But it got more and more painful, and finally he went to a doctor and discovered that his hand was in fact broken. Because he had already begun filming, he couldn't bandage the hand until filming for that episode was finished. The writers ended up writing in an instance for Sam where there's a line like, I think she broke my hand, to explain the fact that he is going to have a cast on for a few episodes.
That's funny.
So you'll see the cast on later on in this season.
Nice, yeah.
So we go back to the nest and...
Well, no, we go back to the motel.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Dean and Gordon are like having a look at Gordon's map. They're trying to figure out where the vamp nest is. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, where's Sammy? And then Sam comes in, and he's like, I need to talk to you, Dean, alone, please. Yeah. And this is where Sam has to be like, this is more complicated than we think it is.
Yeah.
A, Ellen doesn't like Gordon.
Yeah.
B, I don't think we should be hunting these vamps.
Right? I mean, and this is the first time we're having this conversation of like, are these monsters good?
Sam says they found me. And Dean's like, how did you get out? How many did you kill? And Sam's like, they let me go.
I mean, that's like, imagine if all of your experiences with lions were they would attack everybody in my group.
Yeah.
Lions must be evil. And it's like, well, no, they...
Yeah, or sharks or whatever. Yeah.
It's like, no, they're animals, and but it's like, these are people.
Yeah, it's, Sam is like, listen, they let me go. I do believe them. Dean's like, I think Dean wants to say don't be stupid, but Dean is also like, that doesn't track with what we know of vampires.
But also that it has to address their own feelings about like, oh no, I kill these things. If there's even a chance that any of them are good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Dean, you kind of have to commit almost to the Gordon way, or you really have to reckon with like how many people have I killed that I should not
It's like
have?
confronting God. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
suddenly it's like, oh, if there isn't a God, then does that mean that what's a good person? Like it's way too much for him to handle right now when he's just finally going, oh, I know who I am. I'm like Gordon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sam is like, Ellen says he's bad news. We've seen Gordon kind of lurking. He's like listening to the guys talk and all this kind of stuff.
Dean's like, what? Why do we have to listen to Ellen? Like I barely know her. And Sam's like, you don't even know Gordon. Like it.
Yeah, Sam says like he's not a substitute for dad.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Suddenly now he's bringing up all the dad stuff. He's like, you put this face on. He's like, I know that you're hurting. He left a hole in you that you can't fill.
Yeah.
You can't just fill it with whoever shows up.
oh god, Jensen, fill that hole with
Yeah. What if we showed up?
yeah, he and Dean full like
Punches him
Sam.
We had a legit fight with them now. But
Yep.
Sam refuses to fight back.
Yeah.
Which is going to piss off Dean even more. He's like, you can hit me all you want, but it won't change anything, which is even more frustrating probably for Dean.
Yeah, and Dean's like, I'm gonna go to that nest. I'll find it myself if you won't tell me, but it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Dean. I like that the show goes to this place though. You know, like we spent all of one season.
In season 2!
We spent all of one season being like monsters bad,
Yeah.
hunters good, and now like third episode in, they're like hunters bad. They're like,
Monsters good?
I love like just that idea, especially because you know there are some monsters that are more like that Striga was just killing kids, objectively
Evil,
bad,
yeah.
evil. This one is just like. Yeah, I mean, we've seen bad vampires, but there's also not bad vampires. This job is complicated.
Yeah.
There's like a deeper level of investigation that these guys have not been trained to do
No.
because the people they've been trained by or the people they've been around are either John, who's on the quest for revenge,
Yeah.
or now Gordon, who they met, who's on a quest for revenge.
Exactly.
Where it's like they haven't met like very many healthy hunters, and we don't really have Bobby in this season to kind of give them more info or things
Yeah.
like that. Like they're only just learning about this network of hunters, so they're also only just learning that the job is harder than the way they've been doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as they were having this argument, they didn't realize that Gordon was listening to them. So they get back into the motel, and Dean's going to leave, and they realize the keys for the Impala are gone.
Yeah.
And so he didn't. I don't think he actually takes the Impala, but he just takes the keys for the Impala.
Oh, right, just so they can't follow.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he takes his rig.
Because he's just like they're making this too complicated. I'm just going to take them out of the equation. So Gordon
Yes.
goes off on his own to get them, and Sam and Dean have to like hotwire the Impala,
Yeah.
and now they have to go after them. So they're trying to find out where it is, and Sam goes like, "Okay, well I was in the back of this van. I know all of the directions they went." And Sam's just like, Dean's like, "God, you're good." He's like, "You
Yeah.
pissed me off, but God, you're good."
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
of course you're still a hunter. Like you still like you can't just get surprised like that. So.
I mean, the vampires are having the same conversation
Yeah.
where Eli is like, "It's kill or be killed,"
They're
and
hunters.
she's like, "We are like no, like they're
we have to set the tone here.
there are
like-
people. Yeah, we are the only ones that can prove them wrong."
Exactly, because they're hunters. They're going to always believe this one way, but we're
Yeah.
the ones who have to do the legwork here.
So
right?
both
Like,
the humans and the vamps are having basically the same conversation and the same conflict and the
Yeah.
same sort of like moral dilemma.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Gordon is driving to the nest, and Sam and Dean are close behind them. Gordon pulls up at the bridge, which was described to them, I think, when they were talking about when Sam finally gets back.
Yeah. Yeah, because Sam says, like, I know we went over the bridge outside of
That's
town.
all
right?
I
So
remember.
Gordon had heard that from when he was
Exactly.
eavesdropping. Yeah.
Exactly.
And he had his own map and his own theories and that. Like, Gordon could find the nest with that little extra bit of info.
totally. Because
right?
he had an idea of like
he's
what part of town they were
He's
in.
been working on
anyways.
it anyway. It's not like he's going from nothing.
Exactly. But it's interesting, right? Like Sam and Dean are now like both going after the same thing, and Sam is looking at Dean like going, "Oh, you are like Gordon. Like this is a problem." Like,
Well, because they're going after Gordon, but you don't really know if
What's
Dean
gonna
is going
happen.
to help
Yeah.
or to help with Sam.
yeah, or,
like
exactly.
they're just both needing to go the same way for now.
Exactly. So they pull up outside, we're back at the nest, and Lenore's picking up the truck or packing up the truck. Suddenly she hears something, looks around, and Gordon's behind her. He stabs her in the chest with a knife and says,
The knife has
Dead-
dead man's blood.
"Dead
yeah.
man's blood," and then a bad word.
Oh yeah. He says dead man's blood, bitch, because Gordon.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah. He's got like a whole jar of it, and he keeps dipping the nut. Like again,
He's reveling in this.
he's not just killing vamps. He's torturing her. He's like having fun with it. It's bad, man.
He's just like cutting her with a knife.
It's fucked up.
Like that. Like that's more than just like killing a bad person.
It's so fucked up. It's they're in this like abandoned house. There's always an abandoned house. I don't know why there's always an abandoned house. Oh, it's her house, I guess. That's why it looks abandoned.
Yeah, because they have to like they have to keep low profile, right?
Sam and Dean show up, and Dean is like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, just poisoning Lenore." He just
join the
says
fun,
like,
yeah.
She's going to tell us where all her friends are, and even Dean's like, "This is not right."
Like I think Gordon actually says like, "Come on, grab a knife." Like,
yeah, it's oh god, it's bad. Dean's like, "Let's just chill out, huh? Like, if you're gonna kill a vamp, kill a vamp." But
they're like, "Why don't you just put down the knife and step away from her?" All right, like Gordon's just like, I don't understand. Like, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Like,
Gordon's kind of faking them out though. He goes like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm wasting my time here." And then he's just gonna kill her.
Yeah, let's just put her out of her misery. Dean's shocked. Sam realizes that oh yeah, this is oh god.
And Sam's like, "No, you're gonna let her go." And then Gordon's like, "I will
kill you
if I need to."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just like the no shades of gray. I love.
Unless it's with Dean, because there could be 50 Shades.
Oh God. Yeah, Mr. Winchester will see you now.
He could have that. He was up for that role.
I know.
Anyways, let's not date on that.
Yeah, and Gordon says the Fang didn't kill my sister; it turned her.
Yeah,
and he's like, "So I hunted her down and killed her myself." And you're like, "Oh
no!" Like this is not good.
Dean's like, "What?" And then Gordon's like, "Yeah, I didn't blink. Wasn't human anymore. Killed my sister." Yeah,
and you realize that Gordon knew all the time. Like that they weren't killing people.
Yeah, this isn't new info for him. It's not like, "Oh, I never thought of it that way."
Yeah.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah,
it's
he's like, they suck people's blood. They have to die. Like he's
yeah,
like,
it's bad. Yeah,
he's like, it doesn't change what they are. He's like, even if they were.
Oh, and he says, "And I'll prove it." So he cuts Sam's arm and like holds it up to Lenore. He's like, "I'm going to prove to you that they can't help themselves."
Yeah, exactly.
Even if they are legitimately drinking cattle blood, it's only a matter of time.
Exactly.
And so he's like holding Sam's arm above Lenore, and kind of dripping it like on her face. And yeah, her fangs come out and stuff like that. Like she is a vampire.
Yeah, but also is probably pissed off that this is happening.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's fair to say that like that's all just bloodlust.
Yeah, and Dean's like, he says, "Dean, do you still want to save her? They're all the same." Oh God, it's so messed up. But she manages to
pull back.
She puts her fangs back. She stops herself. And Dean sees it, and now Dean is like, "Yeah, Sam is right." I mean,
yeah.
Dean is already most of the way there because he doesn't. Even if
he's seeing how crazy Gordon is, so he's like,
even if Dean wanted to kill this vamp, he wouldn't do it the way Gordon's doing.
Well, exactly, because the juxtaposition of the way that Gordon's acting is going. Okay, well, if I don't want to be like that, then do I want to be like Sam?
And this is just it. And Dean is like, "Yeah, I've got a darkness in me. Do I want to become Gordon?" Like this is a big moment for Dean. He has to be more constructive with his pain than Gordon has.
Yeah, but also forcing him to be less like Gordon's sort of just forces him to be more like Sam. So now he's sort of like, okay, if I'm not like this, then I need to defend Sam and what he's talking about.
So Dean's got gun out on Gordon. Yeah. Oh God, they're so good. I like this.
I mean, Sterling K. Brown is
incredible.
One of the best actors we have right now. Like he's so good.
Yeah, and Dean says, "You want the vamps? You got to go through me." Oh, I love that setup. Like Gordon puts the knife down.
He's just like, "All right, let's fucking do this."
Dean's kind of got that old school thing in him. Puts the gun down.
Pulls the
clip
the
out. Puts the gun down. It's like, "Yeah, we'll fight." And so he and Gordon. Oh God, I forgot.
And then
Gordon goes right for the knife because he's a jackass.
Yeah, it's because
he's a win at all costs kind of asshole. Oh,
but for him, he's just like, you're choosing monsters over people.
And he keeps calling them fangs. Like,
Yeah.
it's all of those, like, things that you learn from,
Dehumanizing.
like, propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
like using slang terms and slurs and things like that.
Yeah.
Like you're just trying to, if you can if you can juxtapose them, then they have to be less because they're not like you.
And we're also having this like very kind of comic booky kind of thing where it's like you're not like your brother, you're a killer like me. We aren't so different. Like it's
I was like a brother to you, Jensen.
it's that kind of thing where it's like the Joker and the Batman, where the Joker's like, we're not that different. You put on a stupid mask and I got this face. Like, it's a thing that I like in Supernatural is when it kind of feels like that sort of heightened, like heroes and villains kind of thing a little bit. I dig that.
But Dean wins the fight and ties up Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
Gordon.
No, he's tying up Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, and this moment, actually.
That's how my fan fiction starts.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, so good.
This is us.
Weird pull. Weird pull. I know he's on that show, but that's... We cut to, it's like morning, it's daytime, the sun's coming in. Gordon's still just like staring forward, just sitting in that chair tied up. And Dean is like
a psychopath.
Dean is basically like, I'm waiting to untie you, but
When
I
you
need
calm
you
down,
to know that
you're
like,
wrong.
Yeah. And Gordon's just like, well, leave me tied up.
Yeah.
He's, oh God. The steely kind of look, like this is such a villain origin story.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Gordon was already bad, but this idea of now like, oh, the Winchesters think they're better than me, or like all this kind of like we're watching him fall into the vat and become the Joker.
Yeah,
like,
it's 100%. Yeah, you're creating a villain here.
It's really powerful because he's not saying anything. It's just looks. It's the shot. It's the sun and the shadow.
Yeah.
Like this is a really well composed scene, and Sterling K. Brown is fucking anchoring it. Dean and Sam are doing the Dean and Sam thing, and they're good. But like, holy shit, is he good?
But what's interesting is now this is the first sort of bad guy that we're just leaving.
Yeah, because I mean, if the point of this episode is
you can't just kill people,
there's a gray
because
area. It's like they also can't off Gordon.
No, I mean
they already don't kill humans, but like can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dean does knock him out though, knock the chair over just to make him feel better because he's Dean.
But I mean, it's just interesting, right? Because it's like, well, we know we're after this demon, but now we just pissed off this guy. Like, are we going to see him again? Because it feels like he's not going to let
There's
this
that,
go.
and then also like if we're just also doing the job just got a lot harder.
Well, we have to
make like calls. We have to live with decisions we make. Like there's, Dean. They come out of the house and Dean says, "Sam, clock me one."
Like, punch me, you owe me.
I
it.
love that sort of Dean simple like masculine math where it's like, I wronged you, wrong me back, and then we're fine.
Yeah,
that's where Sam's just like, it's fine.
like it's not worth it. He's like, I'll take a rain check. It's fine. Which he will.
Yeah.
Surprising spoilers. This is not the first time they get in a fist fight.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, we get back to the car. Here's where we have the conversation.
He's like, think about all of the hunts we
like,
went on.
What if we killed things that didn't deserve killing? And now Dean is like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's ruined everything.
Yeah, well, this was my party. I wanted to cry.
Yeah. And it's them both reckoning that like John was not perfect.
He didn't teach us about this.
He also didn't teach them that there were other hunters or stuff like that too, right?
Yeah.
Like, Dean has to deal with the fact that he kind of enjoyed it. And Sam's like, you didn't kill Lenore though. Like you're not Gordon. But Dean is like, maybe I've got to like work hard not to be Gordon.
Like, you're not our dad and Gordon's not our dad and you're not either of them.
Yeah.
Like, you can, Dean, now it's just sort of him slowly having to confront that, like, without his dad, who is he?
Yeah.
And he can't just find a surrogate father. So now he has to actually figure out who he is.
But the conclusion they get here is that they need each other.
Yes.
That like, Sam kind of needs Dean to drive him a little bit, not like literally because it's his car, but also, and Dean needs Sam to kind of keep him on the track.
And they're never going to confront each other or have fights against each other
and
ever again.
They will have a perfect working relationship.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This was fixed. They're going to drive off into the sunset.
And they drive off.
This is the series finale.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
they figured it all out.
Wow.
oh God, even that shot.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally driving into sunrise, I guess.
Robert Singer, like, never disappoints.
Okay. There was a lot here.
I always forget this episode is as good as it is.
Yeah, I mean,
This is really gonna fuck up this season's gonna fuck up my scale because I started so high.
We've talked about the moral quandary and exploring that to death, so we know that that's in there.
Yeah.
The idea of the show flipping its central premise on its head in an innocuous, like, random third episode, where it's just like, oh, you're getting comfortable? What if they've been wrong the whole time?
Right? Like,
not that they are,
Yeah.
but like, what if? And now you just have to sit in that. In a second season, like, really cool way to flip the script. Sterling K. Brown, fucking incredible. Plays the Dean kind of thing so well early on to get you on his side or to get that relationship working. That scene where it's the two of them talking and it is basically Professor X and Magneto. And it's like, holy shit. And then to have the turn where Gordon can turn off his own humanity and you see it in his eyes. He performs it so well. Like, the way he's just coldly torturing Lenore. It's not even like the motivation is revenge and stuff like that.
but it's like he has no soul.
Yeah, he's not going like, he's not like cutting her and
This
going,
is for my
and
sister.
going, you will tell me where the nest is. He's just
Yeah.
going like, you'll tell me where the nest is. He's like, no, you're right. She won't. I'll kill her.
Yeah.
Like, he's just turned off all of the empathy and compassion and emotion and all those things. It's calculating. It's like a serial killer. Again, maybe going back to Ellen, calling him like Hannibal Lecter.
God, how do you get a skill set like that?
Okay. Oh, Jesus.
What?
I
don't understand
I think
what's
Sterling,
wrong.
I mean, spoiler alert, we'll see Sterling K. Brown again.
Yeah, you think after that, he's just going to be gone forever?
He is like basically only like the third other hunter we've even seen on this show, and that's what we're given. I mean, this episode does a lot. It's really expanding the lore of the world. It's a cool.
You love that.
There's some cool like action stuff, but it's really this like, it's like the Star Trek philosophy kind of episode where it's a little less about what was the fight with the vampire, because there's really not a vamp fight in this.
Yeah.
It's more about the what kind of people do we want to be. And I fucking love it. I think this episode does a great job. I'm holding myself back and I don't know why. I think I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this.
Wow.
I'm going to give this 5 lack of empathies.
Wow. Can you, is that quantitative?
Just to also be philosophical.
Oh,
about it.
okay. Yeah. I mean, this is an incredible episode.
Yeah.
We get Benny, I mean, Eli, but for those who know, no.
Can't. What? Sorry, I'm giving it 6. No. No.
We have one of like just modern days, one of our best, like at least TV actors, Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah. Hands down, one of the best actors on TV.
Yeah.
Generally.
Incredible actor. So we have that. We've got these like philosophical revelations in this episode.
I know, and it's such like a we're not done here kind of episode.
It brings up crazy questions that we've never had to deal with before, and like makes and changes the entire perspective of the show.
It's the show in the first season, I think, surprised people when it was like, oh, they're not just hot guys. There's like, they're putting research into the show. These monsters are interesting. It's a cool story. And then in this season, they're already like, oh, by the way, we're going to make you think.
Yeah. like the first season's actively trying to fight against what it's being like marketed as. And now they're going, okay, now you kind of know what we're doing. Let's change it again.
It's like what Kyle said a couple of episodes ago. We're just like, this show is like a sleeper, great show.
Yeah.
In the guise of like, oh, isn't this a fun like monster show kind of thing?
Well, and it's even funnier because it actually becomes more challenging to take it at what it is in modern television, because there's so many shows that came off of this that don't take all of the lessons.
They take the wrong lessons.
Yeah. They're just like, oh, hot guys, hot show works.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. They were fighting against that thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Completely agree.
So, I mean, you can just, the cinematography is incredible. I
Great
mean,
shots.
Really, really well written. The like scripts were so well done. Like legit great monologues in this.
And it's got that heightened thing, right? Like they're fighting, they're punching each other, and they're wrestling, and he's like, "You're just like me." It's like Heat. You're like watching Heat or something.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Oh my God. Yeah. What an incredible episode. I'm giving it 5 hair drape center parts.
Oh yeah, this is in the Platinum Impala Club, baby.
Yeah, there's no side swoops here. Center fucking
5 center parts, 5 lack of empathies. It's a 5 all around, baby.
Oh, that's right. Well, we would love to know what you think about this episode.
Yeah.
Talk to us. We've been getting some really cool messages on social media.
You're all so lovely who reach out and comment and
This is such
tell
a
us about what you like about the episodes and tell us what you like about our show and Supernatural in general. You're all such sweet, lovely people. Thank you so much.
It's such a juxtaposition to our other podcast fan base.
where we've actively cultivated troll culture.
Like the fucking pirates and heathens over at that. You're all so sweet, and we really love it. So keep reaching out to us. Keep talking to us.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Talk to us about what you think about our show. You can ask us questions.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. You can do it through either our email,
ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
or we are on most of the social media platforms for our age bracket.
Yeah, that's right. We're at Ghostfacers Pod, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't look for us on TikTok. I don't know what that is.
No, I don't know how to tick neither talk.
No.
But I couldn't even say that sentence. I can definitely not talk. But we did mention that other podcast, and a few of you have been coming from this one to that one,
which is so cool. Thank you so
love
much for checking out our other podcast. It's the Dr. DC podcast. It's about DC Comics. If you liked me talking about Batman and the Joker in this episode, and you want to hear me actually talk about Batman and the Joker, and then on that episode talk about how it's like Dean and Gordon, then go over to the Dr. DC podcast.
What a cycle. But I mean, also, if you've ever had any sort of passing interest in what comic books are, but it feels really daunting, the whole point of our of Dr. DC is to make that less scary.
And really, we're mostly just talking about story, like we're talking about here. We're talking about like good guys and bad guys and the like moral questions, and it's a lot of there's a lot of crossover.
We're so deep.
Oh God. Oh, I wish I was deep.
I wish Jensen was deep.
Ugh.
Say goodbye, bitch.
Jerk.
Off.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.